Let's go ahead and get started, and others can hop on as they're able. So thank you so much for attending today's webinar. For those who don't know me, my name is Emily Brinkman, and I'm a product manager for the mobile app here at Map My Customers. It looks like most of you are users of our platforms, but for those who aren't, MMC is a tool designed specifically to help sales reps be more productive and plan their day. During today's webinar, we want to highlight some super exciting changes we've made to the product to track and record activities so you can spend less time logging and more time selling, as we like to say. And after walking you through some of our recent updates, I will give you a sneak peek of upcoming features, including an expedited way to create activities and some improvements we're making to routes. I'll save some time at the end to answer questions, so please type them in the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them all before ending the webinar today. And also, if there's any technical difficulties, if you can't see my screen, please send a chat, because we all know working from home has its perks. Okay. Before we jump in, I do want to emphasize that all of these improvements are based on feedback from you. We're hoping this webinar leads to more conversations with our users so we can continue to work towards our goal of better meeting your needs as field salesmen and women. My email address is listed on the last slide of this deck, so please reach out to me if you're interested in a conversation with me or the rest of the product team to discuss ideas and share your feedback, because that's how updates and changes are made. All right, so let's jump into it. So over the past few months, we've had many conversations with our users to get a sense of what you need from an outside sales app, both during the time of COVID and beyond. Based on these conversations, we've chosen to pivot some of our priorities so we can better meet your new needs today, while also preparing features that will be extremely useful once you return to the field. The common themes of these conversations were the need for automation and smarter activity logging. So as one user explained, the amount of calls and emails she conducts in a day has increased dramatically since she's not able to take her normal routes. She said it felt like a tedious extra step for her to return to the app to record activities after making these calls and sending those emails. And based on a lot of feedback with this sentiment, we got to working to figure out how to introduce automation into the app so that activity tracking is seamless and feels like less of a chore. And this led to the development of quick actions, which are displayed here on the screen, and check-in, which we have here. I'm going to demonstrate both of these in a live demo today, and also share some enhancements we've made to deals. Here's a little preview. Are there any questions before I jump into the live demo over these features? Let me open my chat box. Awesome, doesn't look like it. Okay, so bear with me for a moment while I set up the mobile screen share. My iTunes always opens when I open up my phone, so 1 second. Okay, are there any issues seeing my screen? Just type in the chat box if so. It looks like it's working though. Looks good, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start by showing you all quick actions. If you haven't used them yet, quick actions enable you to automatically log activities with the tap of the call, email, and routing links found throughout the app. You can find them in Map View, List View, and Record View. And then tapping one of these links dynamically creates an activity, pre-filling the activity type, corresponding record information, as well as the date and time. So I now want to show you a quick and easy way to record all of your calls in a day using this new quick action feature. So I'm going to start here on the home screen, and I'm going to open up Maps and zoom in to the region that I want to call today. I'm going to pick my home state of Indiana. Here we are in Indianapolis. I'm going to use the lasso tool by tapping the wrench, followed by the lasso, and draw a circle around the pins that I want to call today. There we go. I'm going to tap the Edit Lassoed Pins, add the pins to a group, and then add them to Emily's call list, which is a group I created for the companies that I need to call today. Now, if I navigate to that list through the Groups tab, select the call list, all of the companies I want to call are available on this screen. So if I tap the phone icon, I can call the company and choose to log the activity, and the activity is automatically logged and saved. You can also select don't log activity if you don't want to log it, but I'm going to choose to log it. I'm going to make the call. They didn't pick up. Navigate back to the home screen, and the call is right there, and I can select it, navigate to record view, and add a note. And save. And the same logging capability exists for route and email links as well. And the route link creates a visit activity, whereas the email link, of course, creates an email activity. The goal for quick actions is to enable reps to be more efficient with their time, so you can burn through your leads, burn through your calls, burn through your emails without that extra step of manually recording each and every activity. I'm super excited for this feature. During user interviews, users seem super excited for this feature because it gets us one step closer to fully automated admin work with cleaner and more accurate data. Are there any questions before I move on to check-in? I'll wait a second here. Great. Okay. So before I jump in, a check-in activity gives you the ability to create an activity with the company, date, and time, as well as the activity type pre-filled. Before I go into more detail, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So check-in must be enabled within settings by your org manager. So I'll go ahead and show you where it's available in settings. Tap the gear icon, followed by reminders and visits. And then you can toggle on check-in if you're a manager within this module. And then it's available for your whole team. And I just want to point out, if you have trouble enabling this, you can reach out to our support team and they'll be happy to assist you. And check-in can only be enabled if auto visits are disabled. So it's one or the other, just so our location tracking doesn't, double log your activities. So it's best to have only one enabled at a time. Okay, so once enabled, check-in is readily available on the home screen. So you can check into a company, right at your fingertips. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the check-in button. And immediately it prompts me to check into the closest company within a 100-meter radius. I can either confirm the company Or if I desire to check into a different company, I can tap the No View More option. And this pulls up a list of nearby companies within a 10-kilometer radius in order of closeness. If the desired company is not found on this list, you can always search for it, but I'm going to opt to check into the company closest to me. Once I'm checked in, a notification confirms that I've checked into the company and includes an option to take notes. Tapping the Take Notes button takes you to the Edit Activity screen where I can add a note. Tap Save. And the visit is available right under the Recent Activities section on the home screen. You can also check into companies, people, and activities on the record view screens, but this is not much different than creating a regular activity other than the fact that it verifies your location. I do want to point out that standard activities can still easily be created from the home screen, universal ad screen, company, people, and deals record view, as well as activity list view. It's still available, but check-in is sort of a feature enhancement that makes it a little bit easier. Before I move on, I do want to discuss the reasoning behind introducing this feature. So check-in is centered around the idea of user empowerment. It's not something that you have to do. You can still create a normal activity, but it's something that makes it easier to go about your day. We want reporting activities to feel more automatic and require little to no administrative work, and we view check-in as a step to achieving that. I do see some comments in the box, so I'm going to take a look really quick. So this feature is currently not available on the desktop version. We view it as something that is more useful on the go based on your location. So that's currently why it's only available on mobile, but that is an interesting idea and I can definitely take back to our web product manager. I clicked the check-in button here on the home screen. Here, I can show you again. And it asks if I want to confirm the company. And notes are automatically dated just based on that activity date. Any other questions? Awesome. Just to provide a little bit more detail, we think it's very beneficial in our, the user interviews that we've conducted. Also, users find very beneficial that it does prompt you to log a note, because often when you're making those visits, making those rounds, it's hard to remember to always fill in your notes after. So having that notification to prompt you is very, very helpful. And to provide a use case, we really envision a sales rep to check in as they're walking into a meeting, participate in their meeting, and then select the take notes call to action as they're leaving to provide more context around that meeting for future follow-ups. Oops, I went into landscape mode, apologies. So basically it just makes adding activity more seamless and reliable while also remaining user-driven, which is our ultimate goal. Are there any more questions before I show you deals? Let's see one. Can you change the type of activity? So currently it's visit by default, but we are hoping to expand settings in the future to make it more customizable for your organization. So that's some great feedback, Carlos, as always. Any others? Okay. So now that I've finished going over the big changes that we introduced in the last few weeks, I'd like to show you some enhancements that we've made to deals. I'll head over to the deal list view screen. We are continuing to work and expand our deals functionality, but to start, we wanted to make sure all crucial information is readily available to you. Based on user interviews, it became clear to us that many of our customers actually use multiple funnels as a deal moves through the life cycle. So we wanted Deal List View to capture that. So we now include sales funnel within the deal card here on the right. So this is in addition to still displaying the stage, company, and expected close date. If I tap into a deal, I now have the company, person, funnel, and stage available right at the top for easy viewing. Lower down on the Activities tab, I can view and manage the funnel and stage. And I also can now view the date that the stage was last updated, as well as the expected closing date. We also added a feature to be able to sync the expected closing date to your calendar. So this can serve as a reminder so you don't forget about it and follow up if you need to prior to that closing date. Some behind the scenes work, we also made deals are a lot more flexible, so they can now be created without an associated company and can be solely associated with a person. And we believe this will open the feature up to many more use cases. Are there any questions about deals? And these are just a few of the first enhancements we're making to deals. We are in the planning stages of how else to improve this functionality. So if you have any feedback, anything on your wish list, we would love to hear about it. And please send me an email after this webinar because much more is to come. Did you say you can choose the funnels? So yes, you can now switch the funnel followed by the stage when editing a deal on your mobile app. Previously, there was an issue because we separated the editing feature for funnel and stage, but now because we've included them on the same edit screen, you can now do both. Awesome. Yes, we will be sending the recording of the session afterwards. Any other questions before I give you a sneak peek of some other features in the pipeline? Oh, can you sort or view by the different funnels? So currently that is not a capability on the mobile app. You can only sort alphabetically, unfortunately. So we are looking to expand both filtering and sorting on the app. So that's definitely in the pipeline, but a little bit further out. Anything else? Great. So I'm now going to stop mobile share and go back to the PowerPoint. So give me 1 second, please. Okay. Share screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? I'm going to assume no comment means yes. A feature I'm very excited about is the ability to save and create a new activity directly from the Add Activity screen. More users than ever are relying on MMC activities to keep track of their day. And with this increased reliance comes the need to create activities very easily and quickly. And this feature will enable us to create multiple activities in a row. An option to save and create new is going to be available at the bottom of the screen to the left of the save button. You can't see it in this screenshot, but this is just some final art. So it will be available in the live version. And users can then save their activity the standard way or opt to save and create if they want to create another immediately after saving the first activity. And we provide options here to save and create new or save and create a duplicate activity. And this duplicate activity is identical to the one that they just created. An example of the use case here is if the user wants to quickly create a future dated activity, for example, with the same company or person, so that all information is pre-filled. This feature is entering the final stages of development, so we expect it to be live within the month. Got some questions? Oh, just confirming that you can see my screen. Are there any questions here? Okay. The last things I would like to give you a preview of are the enhancements we're making to routes. Routes are a complex feature, obviously, that are central to our app experience. And we know that there will be a time when all of our users are back on the road again, and we want to make our routing experience as optimized and useful as possible. To start, we are making some necessary design improvements so that route details are laid out in a more organized and digestible manner. In the new design, you can slide up this little slider tool over the map, similar to how you can on an app like Apple Maps. And if you want to visualize the map again, you can easily slide the details back down. We laid the details out in a cleaner way with labels here on the left and the information here on the right. And we're also introducing some tooltips to define various metrics and provide some integrated help. We decided to make the stops expandable and collapsible so that you can view the details without being overwhelmed by the long list of stops. So here we have the screen with the stops collapsed. Can tap this little add button to expand them and see them all here. We also added an option to take a note about the company or person directly from the route screen. And then you continue to have an option to route, which now with the quick action button automatically creates an activity if you choose to log it. Other than this feature, functionality remains mostly unchanged for now, although we do plan to continue improving the feature as the year progresses. Is there anything else? Any questions about routing? Any questions in general? Anything else you'd like to see? I can pull up the app again. We have some time. We sped through this. All right, if there's no more questions, this is my contact information. Again, thank you everyone for jumping on this webinar today. I really enjoyed having you all, and I hope you can stay productive and in good spirits as we all ride this out. Ooh, I think I